Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Reckles with WTBGold, and I've been running a lot of Mythics recently. I've been on this crazy artifact power grind, and just Mythic Plus is super fun to me. It's harder than raiding, and the difficulty level you can set. Anyway, so with this, maybe it's going to be a series, maybe it's just going to be this one video, but I wanted to show you guys how I tank things, because I normally tank with PUGs. And you have to tank things a little bit differently. You'll see me throw down some markers on what to kill first. This week it was Sanguine, Volcanic, and Fortified. So everything you kill drops a puddle on the ground that heals and damages. There's volcanoes that pop up. That's just a pain for the ranged and the healers. And everything has 30% more health and 30% more damage. You'll see me here pull the turtles and mark the turtles with a skull. And that's because generally, since I run with PUGs, I have to kind of idiot-proof everything. This group was amazing. If you were in this group, I'm not saying it, y'all were awesome, but sometimes people accidentally butt pull ads. Or, you know, a fire mage will be a fire mage and will pull extra. So I want to get control over the turtle as quickly as possible, and if a turtle gets pulled, it's going to be the last to die, and it's going to be annoying, and if you have bolster, you're going to have this 300 million health turtle, and you don't want that. I'm not going to be talking throughout this entire video. I'm going to stop and let y'all just enjoy the run here and there, but anything that has something worth mentioning is important. Demon Hunter is amazing for big packs like this where everything's a caster, because you can pretty much perma-silence and perma-stun the entire pack. Your goal as a tank for this specific pack is to make sure that the Hate Coil Crusher never gets its slam off, and to make sure that the Oracle never gets its heal off. The Oracle is a healer. It casts Rejuvenating Waters, and normally that's on most Mythic Pluses, it's not a big deal, but when you're doing a push run, any level that's hard for you, whether that's a +5 or a +30, the Oracle heals more than you want it to. For packs like this, I like to prioritize ranged, because the melee will follow you around, and for Sanguine or Bolster or anything like that, the ranged ability, as a tank, I have no problem with physical damage. I have a whole bunch of armor. I have the Dark Moon Fair, or not the Dark Moon Fair, the Dark Moon Fair trinket that gives you an extra 15-20% armor. So like melee attacks, I don't have a problem with that, even if it's raging. But the casters, those hit my team, so kill those guys first. With this guy, we messed up, and I want to show you that you can get the timer done even if you fail early on. So my strategy with this guy is kill the caster ad first. Like I said, melee ads follow you around. I can reposition him or hold him still, but ever since 7.2 came out, the spear actually stuns you. It doesn't just put a big dot on you. So that sucks. Like, and in a push run, that pretty much means you lose. It's gonna kill the person he spears, and that means that person can't put in damage into the next set of ads, and it just starts to snowball out of control. And that's what happened here. Other than that, you want to kind of piano key. I was doing a decent job with the waves here, but you want to kind of put all the waves in order. It's normally not that big of a deal, but when this fight takes 15 minutes, or not 15, if this fight takes 3 to 5 minutes, you'll see that the room fills up pretty quick. Oh, that's also a nice little thing, a nice little trick. If you're ever trying to just wipe as fast as possible and you're playing a tank, just take your weapon off.
Target something first.
And we're back through the power of editing. I use this really cool add-on called Exorcist. It's from the guild Exorcist. They're amazing. But they have this really cool add-on that gives you the bar you see at the bottom of my screen. The other add-on that you see over on the left with all the buffs and debuffs and stuff, that's just weak auras. And it's this cool Demon Hunter tank set that I found. What I really like about it is that it shows you your current physical and magic mitigation. Alright, so we got that guy down. Easy peasy. I got a little angry at this group because I told them 4 times to kill the ranged, kill the ranged, kill the ranged, and they didn't. Was this where I was dumb? Yeah, this is where, after all that, I get stunned. Oh god, that sucks so much, just sitting there, just slowly dying. Oh, and I have to apologize. You'll see occasionally, especially on important or hectic parts of boss fights, that my camera kind of bounces a little bit. I've got my 2 just spamming abilities on my mouse. I don't have a fancy nog or anything like that. But for this guy, you don't want to pull for most affixes. Ever since the percentage change that happened with 7.2, there's no need to pull all those blobs. It can be nice in just like a +2 or something. You just pull all those blobs nice and easy. If you're running a guild group, the blobs are actually, I think it's 6%. It's a lot of percentage just for 1 pack of blobs. Also, if you do decide in a guild group to skip the turtles every time at the beginning, you should be fine with the pull strat that I'm doing here. I kind of play it safe and get an extra like 2 or 3%. And I've found, especially on this guy, that it's helpful to put a marker down before you get to this boss, or this ad, to show where you're going to be pulling her. Because the turtle, or not the turtle, the snail friggin' hurts. The snail only does damage in a 180 degree cone in front of it. So if you ever accidentally do pull a snail, just tank it facing you, and then whenever it starts to cast its breath, just run through it. Kind of like the Blackrook Hold first boss. Just think of it like that. Now, I just typed snake first, if you couldn't read it, and this is something you may have seen, you might not, but I like to do the snake first in this instance. It's a little different. It used to be that the seagulls and the wind didn't start until you killed the second boss, the one with the platforms and the water. Now I think it's on a timer, but it's still, like, if you don't wipe 2 or 3 times, if you're making pretty good progress, it's faster to just go through and clear the snake first, so you don't have to deal with birds and wind when you're fighting the snake. I've heard the argument that with volcanic, it's actually better to have the wind, because casters can just keep casting and get kind of blown out of the volcanoes. I don't know. Let me know. Now, with these guys, I normally try to kill them evenly. But, dude, I was getting wrecked. The three-headed Naga Cerberus guy has a tail whip. So just think of him like a dragon from back in the day where, like, you want to take him sideways rather than with his butt to your team. Anyway, your melee is going to be able to better deal with that. Because I think the Demon Hunter gets hit by one of these tail whips, and you'll see it takes out like 3/4 of his health. It's a lot. I pull these 3 packs of crabs. This is just one of my favorite pulls in the game. I don't remember who I saw do this first, but this is just a lot of percentage. Super easy to burn them down. And in any group that has just a ton of AoE DPS, you can just gather these guys up, let them know you're going to gather them up. Pretty much just be considerate. Anything you do, let people know. You can throw down whatever big AoE you want to do. There's a patrol mob of crabs that comes around, so you can grab those if you want to. If you have bolster, don't grab those because they're going to turn into super crabs. But this is just kind of a pull where you just kite everything. And in higher level dungeons, if you're a tank and you're having trouble taking as much damage as is getting dished out, just try kiting. Also, I think those guys stun you or slow you by 50%, something just silly, if you stand near them. With these guys, I normally pull this sand crab, the emperor crab in the back, and the 3-headed Naga Cerberus thing together. But in a push run, I like to just kill this guy by himself because you've got the random chaotic magic damage from the Cerberus guy. You've got just a pain in the butt train that hits you in the hard shell, and then the sand guy, he just kind of spins around whichever way he wants and just whacks on people and puts down a whole bunch of damage. And it's just in a push run, just kill him by himself. It's fine. In bolster, I would recommend killing the Naga guy first. I honestly don't know why I was killing him second this run. We'd been running dungeons all day, and I was a little tired at this point. Excuses, excuses. There's really not much to talk about with this guy. You see my camera shake, and now that I pointed it out, you're not going to be able to see anything but the camera shake. I do like to set up markers here, letting people know that we're going back to the second boss. So, yep, there I go, setting up the markers. But yeah, this guy, he just melee attacks you, and he puts down poison. So, just, I think the poison goes slower if you're standing upwind of him, but there's no wind here, so it's easier to dodge everything. And you might, I don't remember if I did it on this run, but you might see me intentionally stand in the poison. Demon Hunters have a thing where if they do their magic damage mitigation ability, they actually get a agility increase based on however much magic damage they took while the mitigation was active. So when you're pushing and you're trying to pump out as much DPS as possible, you want to mitigate as much damage as possible as much magic damage as possible every 20 seconds. So you'll see me stand in it here and there. Oh my god, I'm remembering how terrified I was here. This doesn't have anything to do with the strategy, but like I leave these crabs up for later, and oh my gosh, the paladin and the demon hunter were so close to pulling that. I was so scared, especially when the paladin ran across. Anyway, since I've got the markers, these guys have turned their cameras around a couple times, and they see the marker. They see that this is where I'm going. They see not to pull the crab. I normally, in like new groups that I haven't run anything with, this group and I kind of had a little bit of rapport already. But like I'll put a moon on that crab, and during the boss fight, I'll say, "Don't attack moon. We don't need it." This fight, I learned something on. So generally, you do your big AoE, and then you kite these guys around. For some reason, though, I didn't. And I let them die around me, and then I couldn't move. And then I was standing in the Sanguine, and it's Sanguine Volcanic. And normally you just kite those around the room. You don't want to bolster the boss, so try to stay as close to the edge as possible. But also, as soon as you kill the snake, usually that's when the seagulls spawn. So you want to make sure you don't pull the seagull with the whole group. And this boss is the same as always. You stand on the platform, and then she does her static thing, and you run off the platform, and melee spreads out because there's a lot of melee damaging abilities. So platform, static, go into the water, save any AoE stuff you have. I don't think I did, but save any AoE to pick up the ads. They tickle. And then as soon as the beacon storm goes out, get back on the platform.
4, 3, 2, 1.
Didn't those ads used to drop Sanguine when this dungeon first came out? Thanks for knocking me off, bro.
To target something first.
They come for you.
Oh, at the very beginning, that first, after the 2 initial turtle packs, and you can see here the seagulls spawn. After the 2 initial turtle packs, and then you jump and you get the big thundering crusher guy and the oracle. That pack, if you have teaming, just pull the crusher and the turtle together and back up a little bit, because there's a patrolling crusher that you have to deal with. And I stood in a volcano. There's a patrolling crusher that you have to deal with, and he'll surprise you. And here I was just trying to get the crabs not to spawn. This is a really good pack. If it's bolster, I wait there right at the entrance to the cave for the patrol to come around. It sucks. Your group gets antsy. With Sanguine, it's fine. You can just kite these around in a little bit of a circle. Also, focus the Skulker or the Stalker or whatever its name is. I put blue mark. My strat is always to stack on blue for LOS stuff. I pull this pack back because there's a snail there, and while you can lose combat with a snail if you get into combat with it, it does slow you down by making you not able to mount up for a couple seconds. And it freaking hurts. So I do really straight lines here. If you ever have a group that's having trouble pulling the turtles, kind of run diagonally away from them, and they'll kind of follow you a little bit. You can put markers down if you want to. I used to put markers down. In plus 14, people have done this dungeon enough to not need it. But, mark one of these guys. They both suck a lot. They feel easier than before 7.2, but it's just a ton of damage. Your job is to save your AoE abilities until right before you're stunned, and then throw, like, I set myself on fire. And I didn't do a good enough job picking up the adds there, so we wiped. Oh, here, when you're running back, don't run from rock to rock, because it's super easy to fall into the water there, and then you get electrocuted to death, and then you lose, like, that's a chest. Like, you're not going to 3 chest if anyone falls into the water. And I know it sounds silly, but I put markers up here. I used to skip the crabs, but I think it's easier to grab those 2 crab packs on the way in, but it saves, I guess, a second or 2 running this way. Fastest point from A to B. Anyway, we're really lucky with this run, because before we all died, I think it was the priest, our shadow priest, was able to just annihilate the marked skull target, and so we didn't have to do that whole complete cancer pull again. I really don't like those giants, those double giants, man. You spawn murlocs and then you stun me, so I can't pick up aggro. Like, that's not fun. I can't do my job as a tank if you force me to be stunned. Tank this ad, it stuns you. Meanwhile, while you're stunned, more ads are gonna get spawned, so they wipe your raid. Whatever. Death and Decay, Consecration right before you get stunned, and you'll be fine. Make sure to complain at Blizzard. God, these guys have so much health. Alright, right, seagulls. It seems silly for me to waste time getting a seagull. I think someone says, like, we don't need the percentage. That's not why I'm killing this. My goal as a tank is to idiot-proof. People will kill seagulls. And what's going to happen is that seagull is going to get dropped right in the middle next to the tank, next to the boss, and it's gonna leave Sanguine on the ground, or it's gonna bolster the boss, or whatever BS affix you have. It's gonna do that right next to the boss, and it's almost always bad. Also, if you accidentally pull it with the boss, then that's just not good. Like, then it's gonna disorient you, and this guy, he doesn't hurt a whole lot, but he hurts enough. Oh, and yes, I think I stood in one of the slams. I have Archimonde's Hatred Reborn, so I can use that as damage increase. If you're a DPS, generally what's going to kill you here is the whole place is going to get filled up with earthquakes. Try to stack the quake on top of each other, so, like, stand in one spot, and then sidestep out of it once it drops, and then What am I doing now? There's no reason for me to be standing in this quake. Am I just being awesome? I think I'm just being awesome. Anyway, once he throws out Quake again, go stand just for a second back in where you dropped your first Quake. Or you can just line them up right next to each other, kind of like I'm doing. I do like to move once or twice throughout the fight, though. Like, we had 2 melee DPS in this group, I think. And so, like, they're dropping Quakes all over each other. They're getting pushed around. It's a pain to be a melee DPS on this fight. It's easy, but it's just annoying. So, anyway, blah, blah, blah. Move the boss, and you'll be fine. Birds. If you're ever not at your DPS, or not at your percentage you need to be, birds give 0.5%, snails give 1.5%. And there's a snail right up at the top after the boss, and then there's a snail at the bottom by the boat when you jump off. So that's 3% right there. It's at like 3.1% if you're ever just behind, you forgot a pack or something happened. If you're in a hurry, a lot of people who get really antsy will try to drag those two Naga together. Generally, I found it's better and easier on everyone to just kill one, group up, move to the next one, kill that. If you're dot heavy, though, by all means, throw a Sigil of Silence down. Yeah, if you're... I forgot about that. If you're ranged, this particular ad... Oh, that's what... Blah, blah, blah. What I was going to say, if you are wanting to group them, just do this girl by herself, because she makes you stand in place. And your melee will get caught in between and won't be able to hit something. And it sucks. But that girl in particular, she puts, she locks you in place, she roots you. And on Volcanic, that's kind of BS. Kind of means like, oh, you're dead now. I don't know if you can you dispel that? Is there a class that can dispel that root? If so, save that for your ranged. If you're on Volcanic, otherwise it doesn't really matter. For me, as a tank, the Storm is what I interrupt. Storm and the Polymorph Fish. Those are my priorities. That's what I save my interrupts for. If you have spare ones, the lightning bolts do take away like half of your health. So it sucks. You've seen me in some of my other videos do a trick where I stand in the massive deluge, and then if you point your camera down, you can heroic leap or do your infernal smash. What is the Demon Hunter heroic leap called? I don't even know. I just John Cena around. But that's a lot of magic damage. So if you do your Empower wards, you can get buffed there, or just stand in those little lightning things. That works too. The thing that he puts on random people that you have to stack for, though, that is physical damage. It's percentage. This right here. This ring is physical damage. Stack up as a group, and it's going to be fine. But it's still a lot of damage, so do your physical mitigation. Get that armor up. If you have an armor trinket, pop it. Because it does percentage of health base damage, it sucks. But yeah, that's it. We got one chest plus 14. Feels good. We all did. You can't really see my my Skada, but everyone was at about 700k for total. 900 to 910 eye level is where we're sitting right now. If like a 915 DPS is like god tier right now. That's gonna be kind of cute and funny come Tomb of Cerberus. But that's it. I will see you guys later. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions, like let me know. How do you pull differently? Are there any optimization tricks that I missed other than the cheesing trick where you just flip yourself up to the first boss? Anyway, that's it. Have a great day. Happy gold making.